So when I was cutting up a crotch piece for some bigger bowl blanks, I ended up with this smaller blank, and it originally was just going to go to the firewood pile, but I noticed it had some really nice feathering from probably a branch that was somewhere over here. So I decided, let's make a little bowl out of it. So the first thing I want to do is just find the best center spot. Looks like it'd be right there. Let's try to maximize the size of the bowl that I can make out of it. The piece is probably about 2.5 inches thick. And they probably like a 5, maybe 6, somewhere in that size range in diameter. So I can see the center later. So I'm going to take this over to the bandsaw and just cut the corners off of it. So the next time you'll see this, it'll be nice and round. Okay, I'm back from the bandsaw, and I made a stop at my drill press to drill a hole in this with a Forester bit to match my jaws of my chuck. This is going to be an easy way to start a bowl, and this is going to be the top side inside of the bowl. Next step, get it mounted on the lathe. Okay, so to mount it on the lathe, all I'm going to do is put my chuck jaws inside it and expand them out. Give it a little bit of a tighten on both of the holes a couple times to make sure they're nice and locked in. Alright, so it's ready to start turning it. Alright, now that I have it mounted on the lathe, the first thing I need to do is I need to flatten out what's going to be the bottom side of it, and then I will be able to start shaping it. Okay, so I have it flat enough that I can actually make my recess now. So, a pair of calipers. That'll work for the recess. I'll put the foot about there. And now it's time to start shaping the outside of the bowl. Okay, so now that I have the outside shape, the next thing I need to do is I need to hollow out inside this pencil mark to make my recess so that I can flip the bowl over and mount it on my chuck so that I can hollow the inside of it out. Okay, so that's no more than 1/8 of an inch deep. You can even do it as shallow as 1/16 of an inch. Now that I have the bulk of it taken out, I'm going to come in. I have a square scraper that I cut a notch in the side that I can use that matches the dovetails on my jaw. So now's the time to sand inside this recess, because unless you're going to reverse mount it, you're never going to see this again on the lathe. Okay, so now we're just gonna loosen the jaws, flip it over and expand the jaws into it. Spin it nice and true, so just give it a little, don't go too crazy because you don't want to break that recess out. Now all that's left is to hollow out the inside of it. So right now I'm doing a push cut from the outside in towards the center of the bowl. I'm actually slightly rubbing the bevel as I'm going through, which supports the fiber of the wood so that you don't get that much in the way of tear out. Okay, so that's it for the shaping of the bowl. Just got to do a little bit of sanding and it'll be all done. So when I sand bowls, my go-to is to power sand with a right angle drill, and I use foam backer pads that are different shapes. So for the inside, I have one that's got a little bit of radius on the edges, and the sanding discs are a little bit oversized so that they actually curve over the edges to make it easier to make a smooth transition inside the bowls. So when power sanding, you always want to have your drill rotating the opposite direction of the bowl. You don't want to push too hard, and you don't want the lathe to be spinning too fast. You kind of want to match the speed approximately of the lathe with the drill. Alright, so now I'm just going to sand through all my grits. Okay, so my last step is to apply a sanding paste to smooth it out, and then I will come in with my finishing wax to give it a protective coat. So I'm going to start by putting my paste on and just spreading it out good. Do the inside and turn it on. Gotta turn it up to a reasonable speed, somewhere around 700 RPMs. Start off with just a little bit of pressure. Get the rim a little bit. Flip it over to a clean spot of the rag to take off the excess. And we're going to turn the speed up. And we're going to repeat the process on the outside. To a clean spot of the rag just to take off any excess and Alright, last step is to apply my walnut oil finishing wax. Just liberally spread it around. A little bit goes a long way. Turn the lathe on with some speed. And that's it. And you can see the night with the oil, it brings out the feathering that I was talking about. So in a few easy steps, you can make a bowl just like this.